The man stabbed a knife into the ocean. A shark was pulled up from the water. They cut the shark open and ate the small fish inside its stomach. It was their first meal in 5 days since getting stranded in the Pacific Ocean. They saved some fish meat and stuffed it into socks to preserve it. Then, they cleaned the blood from their small boat. But the blood attracted a group of sharks, which surrounded them. The officer quickly ordered everyone to stay away from the edges of the boat. That night, the man reached out to wash his face. Suddenly, a shark bit his hand. Days passed. Soon, it was the 15th day of their drifting. During this time, they ate meat when hungry and drank collected water when thirsty. One day, a crew member picked up his gun. The officer asked what he was doing. The man had seen a seagull flying nearby. He fired and hit the bird. It fell dozens of meters away. The officer jumped into the sea to grab the seagull, but sharks smelled the blood and swam toward him. The officer swam back to the boat as fast as he could. He returned just seconds before the shark could bite him. While eating the seagull meat, one man guessed that birds nearby might mean land was close, but the officer disagreed. He explained that seagulls could fly long distances, even from the South Pole to the North Pole in just over 20 days. By the 30th day of drifting, they had gone too long without fresh water. All 3 men were sick and could barely stay awake, but the need to survive forced them to get up and row the boat. Suddenly, a storm rolled in. They quickly took off their shirts to collect rainwater. Thunder and lightning lit up the sky. The officer knew this was a sign that a hurricane was coming. He shouted for everyone to wake up and grab their supplies. The next second, a giant wave hit them and threw the officer into the sea. Luckily, he made it back to the boat. But just as they caught their breath, another huge wave crashed down. Even though they held on with all their strength, they were thrown into the ocean. All their food was lost. The officer swam hard toward the surface. By luck, he returned to the overturned boat. Then they noticed one crew member was missing. They shouted his name again and again. Finally, they saw him floating behind the boat. They pulled him back and held tightly to the edge. The officer suggested using the waves to flip the boat over. Together, the 3 of them pushed hard. At last, they turned the boat upright. The 3 men sat together and endured a painful, freezing night. By morning, both their bodies and minds were nearly destroyed. They lay on the boat, hopeless, waiting for death. Suddenly, one man shouted. He saw an island ahead. He quickly called the others. When they confirmed it was truly an island, they were filled with hope. They swam toward it with all their strength. On the 34th day of being stranded in the Pacific, after drifting over 1,600 kilometers, they finally survived. They reached land.